In this video, we're going to talk about simple interest. So interest is the amount of money that you pay in order to borrow money. So if you're going to go out and buy a car, you might not have the total cost of the car, which is, in this problem, $5,840. So in order to buy the car, you borrow this money and you pay it back to a bank over time. So this amount of money that you've borrowed is called the principal. And then you're borrowing it at 10% per year. So this is your rate, or what percentage you're paying it back at. And this is how long you have until you have to pay back the money. So this is time. We need to come up with an equation here. We have interest, that's I. We have principal, P, the amount of money that you borrowed. We have rate, R, and then we have time, T. So these four variables are related by I equals P, R, T. And you need to be careful because we had an equation earlier for percentages. So percent equals part over whole. However, our book used the word rate here, so it was R. And then for part, it was portion. And then for whole, it was base. So you'll notice that we use R in both of these equations, and we use P in both of these equations. However, you have to be careful because this P is part or portion. So this is the top of the fraction. This P is principal. It's the total amount borrowed. So even though we're using the same symbol, they mean different things. Fortunately, rate here is a percentage, and rate here is a percentage, so that doesn't change. So in our problem here, we are looking to figure out what is the interest on our loan. We know the principal is $5,840, so that's the total amount we borrowed. The rate is 10% per year. So each year we owe this money plus 10% of this money. And then the time is the length of time we have until we need to pay it back. 2 years, 6 months. All right, and we're going to plug into I equals P, R, T. P is $5,840. Rate is 10%, but whenever we're doing calculations with percentages, we have to use the decimal form. So 10% in decimal form is 0.1. And then time. Now you'll notice it's reported in years and months. We need to get it into 1 unit. So I'm going to say that this is 2.5 years. Now you could have said, well, 2 years, that's 24 months, plus 6 months is 30 months. But what you need to be careful of is your rate is reported per unit time. So since this is reported as per year, we need to use this 2.5 years number. If this was reported as 10% per month, then we would have used the 30 months. So make sure that your time unit here and here match. Okay, and when you do this calculation, 5,840 times 0.1 times 2.5, you end up with 1,460. And this is the amount of interest you paid in order to borrow that $5,840. Now you have to be careful because sometimes the questions ask slightly differently, and it might be asked, well, what's the total amount you paid? This isn't the total amount you paid. This is the amount you paid in addition to the principal that you borrowed. So if you wanted to know the total amount, we would have to add 5,840 plus 1,460. So in total, you paid $7,300 in order to borrow $5,840. So let's try a second example. A nurse paid $10.24 in monthly interest on a credit card account that had an average daily balance of $584.87. And we want to find the monthly rate of interest. All right. So I'm going to write out my 4 variables. She paid $10.24 in monthly interest, so that's her interest paid, on a credit card account that had an average daily balance of $584.87. That's her principal. Find the monthly rate of interest. So we're looking for this per month. So our time interval is going to be 1 month. And we know that because we're told that she paid this much money in a month. Our equation is I equals PRT, but this time we're solving for rate. So we want rate by itself. It's multiplied by principal and time, so we're going to divide it by principal and time. And whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. The principal and the time cancels on the right, and I get I over PT equals R. So our interest is $10.24. Our principal is $584.87, and our time interval is 1 month. And when you do this calculation, you get 0.017508, and that is her rate, or the percentage, her monthly percentage. Now you have to be careful with this because this is in decimal form. When we are reporting it as a percentage, we want to report it in percentage form. That means we need to move the decimal 2 to the right. And then finally, we're told to round to the nearest hundredth. So this is the 10th place, this is the 100th place. So our final answer would be 1.75%.